How much time are you talking to attractive women every week? Is it 1 minute? Is it 5 minutes? Is it half an hour? Is it many hours? Try to answer that question for you right now. Now, the reason I want to talk about this in this video is, as you've noticed on this channel, I've made a bunch of videos about introvert advice recently. Introverted guide for traveling, introverted guide for kissing, introverted guide for first dates. I've read the comments and I'm answering to the comments, and people are, I wouldn't say complaining, but they're noting like, hey, the stuff you're advising is not really for introverts. Introverts, they just want to stay at home. They don't want to talk to anyone. They're drowning the energy when they're around people. And you're saying you should be more social, you should be around more people. And I kind of want to address that in this video. And I want to specifically explain two concepts that helped me as an introvert become more social. Because I've been very introverted for the majority of my life. I had no problem staying at home during the week, at school, studying, programming, playing online poker. I had no problem even staying at home during the weekends, just working on my coding project or improving certain Photoshop designs or whatever it was. That was totally fine for me. But there was just one point in my life where I realized I cannot stay like that forever. I have to become a little more extroverted despite my introverted tendencies if I ever wanna be successful with ladies. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of like the comments are almost like defending their introversion, and they just don't even want to get out of that shell, and it's just against their nature to even be a little bit social. Then the question is just like, well, is it more important for you to hold on to that identity forever for you, or is it more important for you to finally meet some ladies? So in this video, I'm gonna talk about the 5 stages that I went through from total introvert to having a much brighter and more colorful social life, and basically having way more minutes per week with women. And maybe it inspires you, maybe it helps you. Before I go into these 5 stages, I wanna, as I mentioned, explain the 2 concepts. And they're quite simple. The first concept is reps. The second concept is Facetime. So, what do I mean by reps? Obviously, everybody who's ever been to a gym even once knows what a rep is. It's basically, you know, you have a set of 10 bicep curls and 1 rep is this. The more reps you do with the more weight, the more your muscle grows. That's the basic philosophy. So, the same is if you talk about it in a social context. How many reps are you doing in the social gym every week? Are you going to the gym regularly, or are you really lazy and you're basically a couch potato? To really put this into context, imagine how many reps an attractive woman does every week. From the age of 15, 16, she's usually aware that she's beautiful because she's just getting so much attention from men all the time. She walks into a cafe, the barista is extra nice, somebody holds up the door, somebody's offering her the better table in a restaurant. She goes into the cinema, the ticket guy is flirting with her. She walks through the school campus, she is at family dinner, she's at the airport. Anywhere she is, she gets certain, you know, impressions and confirmation that she's hot and some level of social interaction. The way she deals with it is, you know, out of question now, but for sure she notices the effect she has on people. So every time, even if it's just for 1 second, even if it's just one look of somebody, it is a rep for her. It's a social rep where she learns to adapt, to deal with the fact that she's very beautiful. And obviously she can use that power to interact with the man she wants to interact with, or maybe she can use that power to get something out of man, and so on. That obviously depends on her environment and her personality and her upbringing and her morals and so on and so on. The fact is that we as like basic guys, especially introverted, maybe not 10 out of 10 good looking, maybe not 6'2" tall, we don't have any of this natural occurring reps. We have to create our reps. We have to actively go to the social gym. We have to actively live a more healthy lifestyle, socially speaking, to get the same or even close to the same amount of reps like a beautiful girl naturally does. Which brings me to the second principle, which is Facetime. And you can imagine what that means. How do we get more reps? Well, by being in front of more women, by having more Facetime with attractive women. And I'm not talking about your female colleague, I'm not talking about your female teacher or even your female classmates that you're just like hanging out with, doing homework with. I mean specifically women that you would consider dating, that you would consider having sex with, that you would consider going on a date with, escalating with, that you're aroused from, and so on, okay? So this is where we go into the 5 phases of my life. And basically I want you to listen and see, okay, what phase of these 5 are you in now? Because realistically, you will move from one phase to the next. You will not jump over one, you will not suddenly go from 1 to 5. So my phase 1 was me in technical high school, age 15 to 20-ish, and all male in boarding school, very few females in my class. How much FaceTime a week did I get with women that I was attracted to, that I would date? 0. Because on the weekends, I was just with my parents, I was coding, literally. I was like running this little sandwich business and I was coding PHP and SQL and working on an online shop. During the week, I was playing poker all the time. I wasn't really going out. I wasn't trying to meet any women. That was not even an idea I had in my mind. So minutes per week, 0. Phase 2 was living in Vienna, going into engineering university, living a sort of party life. I would say hours per week, actually talking to women that I'm attracted to, between 1 and 2. Why? In school, it's the same thing. It was computer science. I was just doing my homework. I was just listening to classes. There wasn't really female classmates that much. On the weekend, I would maybe go out once, which means pre-drinking, mostly with dudes, to be honest, drinking cheap beers to not waste money in the club. And then in the club, trying to do some approaching, maybe here and there getting into a conversation with a girl for like 20 minutes. Combine that with like after parties and here and there hanging out after university. So yeah, 1 or 2 hours per week of getting FaceTime and having reps with women I'm attracted to. At that point, I was pretty fed up. I realized, like I said at the beginning of this video, it can't be like that forever. I have to change to change. I need to make a shift in the FaceTime. I didn't call it that way back then. I was just brutally aware that if I don't change my habits, if I don't change my social life, if I don't change my whole approach to this, I will keep getting what I'm currently getting, which is, yeah, the 1 or 2 hours a week. I didn't think about it in these mathematical terms back then. I was just like, I'm not getting the girls I want to get. Like, there's some guys out there, they're dating these beautiful women, somehow, I don't know how, and I'm not one of them. So I need to change something. Also, I was kind of done with being in engineering school. It took all of my time and focus. Homework took forever. I realized I don't want to be a coder long term, and I'm more like an entrepreneurial mind. I can still use my technical mind to build good companies, but I was basically realizing this is not it forever. So I quit and I started working at Starbucks. I worked at Starbucks for 2 reasons. First of all, I needed the money because my dad stopped paying me because I wasn't in university anymore. So he stopped giving me any money for rent or food or anything. So I needed the cash, and Starbucks was an easy job to get at the time. And the second reason was I wanted to become more social. I thought, if all these women, the sexy girls getting their Starbucks coffee every day, will just stand in front of me and I can have like a 30-second interaction with them as I take their order, or maybe put a smiley on their cup, or maybe put my WhatsApp number on their cup, this will make me more social. This will get me laid. Something like that I thought back then. And there was truth to that. My interacting, like real FaceTime with sexy girls, went up to maybe 6-7 hours per week. If you combine it also with having a bit more free time because I did less homework. I was then starting to study marketing, so that was a more, equal university, almost like more women than men. I really got my numbers up. I became more social, I became more comfortable. I could use my introverted kind of self a bit more because I was just in the environment of women more. Just being at Starbucks, you're surrounded by women. Being in a marketing university, there's more women from different classrooms, and you meet them after class and you meet them at certain events. And this is what I meant with the introvert thing can be a secret weapon. Yes, you first have to make an effort. If you're just introverted and you're not making that effort that I made to become more social, to be surrounded by more people, then yes, your introversion is obviously not a secret weapon, and I clarified that in the other video, and I'm clarifying it here again. You have to first build it, and then they will come, sort of like that. But that was only phase 3 for me, and then I built it more and more from there. So let's talk about that. The real shift happened, and really I took ownership moving into phase 4. This is when I got more social friends who are on the same page as I am when it comes to approaching, and when I started approaching. Basically, I realized I can't rely on people coming into Starbucks. I can't rely on the Tinder algorithm to get girls. I can't rely on the marketing university to sign up the right females to maybe be in my environment. I need to be actively approaching women. I was too shy to do it alone, so I realized I need a team, I need a gang, I need a tribe around me, I need other dudes who motivate me to do it. So I did those two things. I basically became part of the Natural Lifestyles team, and being around those dudes, James, Liam, and so on, being around the guys who do it every day kind of normalized it for me. It's almost like they were more extroverted than me, and I could be my introverted self again because I was like outsourcing the being extroverted to them, getting me out of the door, showing me how to approach, pushing me to approach, doing the big talking in social events or at house parties, and then I was like chilling in the back. That was great, and that took my level up quite a bit. I mean, I wrote it down here. I did about 3 to 6 hours of approaching every week. So more like 6 hours, and out of 6 hours, maybe I would talk to girls like 2 hours or 3. Then I also started doing yoga, so I was talking to girls a bit after the class. Then I did social circle stuff, so like dinners, friends, girlfriends, hang out with them, house parties, generally dating, going on dates with girls that I would meet on the street. And I would say my weekly FaceTime would go up to 10 to 12 hours, roughly, right? So if we think back of like before it was like 0, then it was like 1 hour per week. Now we're at 10 hours per week. So that's a magnitude of just getting more exposure to the feminine energy, to interacting, just way more reps. I took basically my social gym routine so much more serious. And again, the question to you, at what phase of this are you currently at? Comment below. Now we're in phase 4. So let's talk about my phase 5. Now before I talk about phase 5, I want to say I'm obviously kind of special. I'm kind of insane in that sense. I went all in on becoming more social, meeting more ladies, elevating my status that way, working on my Instagram, working on my social circle, even making a bikini brand to be around more women, okay? You don't have to become that. So if you're currently at a level 2 and you can make it to a level 3 somehow by adding a hobby, adding a social side hustle, entering some other social circle, that's already amazing, okay? For me, phase 5 was basically kind of getting the realization that only cold approach has a limit, right? I've drawn this pyramid in other videos, but the real base is your inner game. Once you feel good enough to do one approach or get the help of a coach to do one approach, you're in the base level of the pyramid, which is cold approach. Then, if you really want to upgrade to more women and more attractive women and kind of like a more reliable system to have women in your life, you have to nail social media and social circle. And that's the realization I had about 4 years ago. That's why I started doing regular house parties, and I branded my house parties as tilted events, and I created a bikini brand, and I even created tilted houses where girls would move in with me to shoot content, to make friends, to hang out. And imagine that. Imagine you would live in a big apartment with multiple bedrooms with 3 or 4 girls. That doesn't mean you hang out with them all day. I mean, I'm basically in my room or in my office that I rent apart from that, and depending which city I live in, most of the day. But when I come home, I'll have a little chat with one girl in the kitchen, we watch Netflix together, we do yoga together, we play some board game together, we have a glass of wine together, or in the morning she makes me breakfast, and so on. Now, this is my phase 5, which basically takes the weekly time, FaceTime, to, if it's like 2 or 3 hours per day, to around 20 hours per week, right? So I again doubled it. And I'm getting so many reps now that it's finally kind of close to what the really beautiful girl gets on a daily way anyway. So you don't have to do that, but it's definitely interesting to think about that. What is your current situation? What is your current lifestyle? Are you always at home? Do you work from home? Are all your hobbies male dominant? In the hobbies you have, how much are you actually interacting with attractive girls? Are you approaching? That was, from all of these things, the biggest lever, right? That was the biggest difference for me, going from not approaching to approaching. So if you're not currently approaching at all, if you see beautiful girls on the street or in cafes and you never say hi to them, you're missing out huge, okay? And if you need help with that, you can book a call, free consultation call, with me or my team, where we talk about your situation, where you live, your current country, your current habits, the things that hold you back, your mindsets, and we really try to help you on that call to make a shift and go from whatever phase you're in now to the next one above. So to wrap it up, this is the 2 concepts of reps and FaceTime. Again, comment below whatever that spiked for you in terms of maybe it triggered you of like, oh, goddamn, he's right. I'm really not meeting as many girls as I want. Or I don't even want to meet girls because it's not going as I want anyway. Or whatever other excuse, post it below. Because at the end of the day, what you recognize with each of these phases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, every time I made a conscious decision and I took ownership and I realized what I have now is not what I'm satisfied with. I'm not satisfied. I want more. And maybe that's the crazy in me that I always want more and more and more, but I have no regrets that I ended up where I'm now for now, and I know I will keep building and building. So that's my 2 cents from the capital of Bulgaria. Beautiful October day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.